this next one is an absolute banger because it's Davey Grant against Louis Smolka.
Oh, yeah.
Smolka's been around the UFC for a long while. He's a very, very talented fighter. He's had personal problems, with addiction they've affected his professional progress. He could have been much higher up in the rankings and consistently in the rankings. But this second wave of him, you can kind of see he's matured a bit. Davey Grant, in my opinion, has got really, really effective striking for mixed martial arts. Stance switching, very kind of modern the way that he approaches things. Like that switch that he caught Martinez with. Like those kind of things are going to give Smolka problems. The reason I like Smolka is because even if Davey Grant's stepping through, he'll cover and then start countering with power hooks because he's overly aggressive. But I could see this one being the one that steals the show, to be honest.
Yeah, this was my potential fight of the night as well.
Yeah.
I just think because Davey Grant's really fun to watch. I like watching Davey Grant. His fight against Marlon was wicked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, Smolka isn't afraid to throw back as well. He's got an aggressive style.
Mm-hmm.
So I can really see like Smolka holding his ground and Davey Grant just kind of bouncing back in and out.
Yeah.
And
my concern for Davey Grant is grappling. Like he really should do with staying away from Smolka's grappling, just because it's not. He's not going to win the fight there, in my opinion. Davey Grant needs to stay on the outside, use that hop side kick to the midsection, because Smolka does kind of march a little bit quite square. Like Davey Grant could keep using that side kick to the midsection from southpaw and keep switching his stance as he's stepping in and then moving away again. Every time he moves towards Smolka, though, you're guaranteed he's going to start trading, and there might be catches and trips and takedowns and stuff from Smolka as well. And I think Smolka's his grappling game has always been underestimated. I mean, I think, was it Paddy Houlihan he beat? Yeah, it was, rear naked choke. So that was the second Dublin show that the UFC did. It was the one after McGregor fought Brandao.
all right.
And it was supposed to be Poirier against, why am I forgetting his name? Irish fighter. Doesn't compete
Quealy.
anymore. No, doesn't compete anymore. Oh, Joe Duffy.
Oh.
That was supposed to be the main event. They ended up, I think Joe Duffy pulled out first, and then he was replaced, and then Poirier pulled out. And anyway, it ended up, the whole card got reshuffled, and it ended up being Smolka against Paddy Houlihan, the main event, and Smolka choked him out. And it was you went from like McGregor Brandao, and he bam, 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 Brandao's out, the whole fucking place goes off, to then Paddy getting choked, and it was like kind of sad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you could see it happening because Smolka is so good on the ground. This is a really interesting fight until it hits the ground, and then I think Smolka is going to be able to work Davey Grant over.
Yeah, I'm backing Davey because I think he, just purely because of his output as well.
Yeah,
I think if he can, and I don't think his conditioning's. I mean, the fights I've watched him in, he doesn't really ever seem to drop off.
No.
Yeah, like you said, the only concern really is if he gets taken down and drowned a little bit. But I think if he can avoid the takedown and just maintain his pace that he usually fights at, he could probably get a decision win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 17-8 for Smolka, 13-6 for Davey Grant. So they've both got a few losses on their record. So it's, you know what I mean. There's you can tell that they've been on both sides of the coin, and that does help, I think, in their approach. It makes them both a bit more mature and certain of the way that they approach it. I think Davey's going to be smart enough to not want to grapple too much with Smolka. 1 inch height advantage for Smolka, 1 inch reach advantage for Davey Grant. 8 knockouts and 7 submissions for Smolka. 3 knockouts and 8 submissions for Davey Grant. But again, I just think that the level of Smolka's grappling is going to be problematic for Davey Grant. He is very, very slick on the ground. As far as their strike landed per minute, they're almost identical, 4.55, 4.54. Davey Grant has slightly better striking defense, 60% takedown defense, but of course a much higher submission average for Smolka. Yeah, I mean, I could see Davey Grant dancing around him, beating him up, picking him off, nailing him with that side kick over and over again, and just kind of being the more elusive, better footwork, more lively fighter. But I can see him come crashing in, getting into a trade with Smolka and getting tripped takedown. And then he's dealing with Smolka climbing up and trying to take his back. Let's have a look at submissions for... When was Davey Grant's last submission?
He's got guillotine. Oh, no, sorry. Rear naked choke, was it?
Yeah, it was a rear naked choke on The Ultimate Fighter. So then, if you look at his record, he's actually been subbed 3 times since then. Do you know what I mean? That's my concern. Like Bermudez, Stasiak, and Holdsworth. I could see Davey Grant getting subbed here.
Do you think if Grant kind of draws Smolka, if he maybe stuffs a few takedowns and draws him into the fight, I could see that happening and
absolutely
Davey getting him.
Yeah, I mean 60% takedown defense. He's stopping more than half takedown attempts, and Smolka's takedown accuracy is 37%. It's not great, but Davey Grant's got to stay disciplined. If he hits Smolka a few times and feels like he's hurting him, he might chase the finish and get overexcited. And Smolka's able to take a lot of shots. He's very, very durable. I don't know. My concern is that Davey's just going to get tangled up. I'm going to pick Davey to win. I think he's going to be able to outpoint him and beat him by decision. But there is a real risk of getting tangled up with Smolka, and I think he needs to avoid that best he can.
Yeah, I've got Grant as well.